Hello there, and welcome to my first video to get 1 million views. Did you click on this video because of the title? Well, good. You're now part of my experiment. And this experiment consists of getting many views by manifestation.
I answer to no one. Everything is mine, thanks to manifestation.
And this requires all of you to do something very easy. Press this, do this, and the best part is write your best comment in the comments below. You may also feel free to write bullying comments about the fact that I don't yet have 1 million views on this video. But I will. But after you've done this, go and make a friend or enemy in the comments as well. You never know what might happen. Somebody buy my Jeep. I hate it. So what's going on today? More of this, of course. So enjoy this phenomenal intro again. So I've done that thing that I always do, and I finished doing what I was supposed to be doing, but I didn't do an intro to the video I was making. Basically, I'm about to do a bunch of stuff to the inside of this car. Yes, that's all. No, not that's all. There's loads of stuff that's going to be done, and the first bit involves this headlining. In case you hadn't guessed, this is the old headlining, and I'm not going to be using it, so it's going to be filed right here. Now, headlining dramas aside, this is what we're working with. A whole lot of vile looking interior that currently looks like a free candy van. Pretty unpleasant, right? So I'm going to change that right now. But first, I'm going to get rid of all this random crap that's in the back. And by random crap, I mean slightly critical wiring and other things.
If I catch you under the mistletoe, you must quench me with your tongue. Yes, that's the rule, it's legally binding. Now there's no race, isn't that cool?
And the final step involved in removing all of this is to take out this weird voice-activated window, because for some reason the roof lining tucks into the top edge, so I can't do it with the window still in place. It was a nightmare to fit it. I'm gonna hate this. Anyway, it's voice-activated, so which word is it today? I think it'll need a bit of that hoc tour. Delightful. We're getting there. There's a little bit of working space left. However, it's come to my attention that there's a slightly large hole in the middle of my car.
It really is.
So let's fix that. Now, usually what happens in this situation is Nissan gives you a nice cover to cover up your big hole. Unfortunately, my thing to cover up my big hole has two not quite as big holes in it. Now, fortunately, there are several ways to solve this situation. First of which being... Well, that was lucky. So now it's made of stainless steel and doesn't have any holes in it. Now, unfortunately, one extra step was needed. There's a little bend required in this, and this has to be extremely precise. So the only way to do that is this way. Now that hurt more than you might think. However, it fits quite beautifully. So now that I know that it fits, I have to somehow fit a gear shifter to it. This one. Now I've taken some of my measurements. I've marked a center line down here, which is basically the midpoint of the car. And basing this on the Touareg, these are equal widths. So it's safe to assume that this sits basically in the middle of the car, or at least in the middle of the center console. So that's what I'm going to do. Now what I have to be careful of is this lip here, because obviously I don't want to go sandwiching gear changers in between this bit of metal and that plate that I just made. So what that means is that on this bottom edge here, I cannot go closer than 25mm towards this bolt hole. Otherwise I'll be making sandwiches. But first, I have to modify this a little bit. A few minutes of precise measurements later, involving this pen and this extremely inaccurate measuring device, with any luck, if I cut this out, that will then fit in there. You'd also better hope this cuts quite nicely, because this is the only slitting disc I have left. Needs some slight adjustment. I had to add one more hole. It stumped me for a while, but that hole is for this little nub in here. I guess it's alignment, but it's not really needed anyway, but I've got it. Here's how my disc looked at the end of that. Needless to say, just enough. Well, I didn't get any footage of installing it because batteries suck, but that went quite nicely. And I would say that is almost exactly dead center in the middle of the car, which is exactly what I wanted. Now, what better thing to use to put a roof together than a roof? Thanks, Volkswagen. And I'm only doing this because my roof is a nice light color, and I don't really want to get it all filthy before anything happens. So while I'm putting it together and putting all those weird rods inside it, I'll put it on that to keep it off the floor, mostly. Now I'm sure it doesn't matter, but I'm going to keep all of these in the same order that they came off in. Now our next goal for this build is to make this car shut the hell up while it's driving. And that means inside, not outside. For that, I have this very heavy box. Guess what's in here? You guessed it, a rather large amount of sound deadening. And that's that butyl rubber stuff. Now, as you can see, my roof needs a little bit of tidying up first, because I didn't really bother painting that. I didn't see the need. It's in really good condition, and the only thing left on it are these weird kind of sticky bits of tape. But I'm not covering the entirety of the roof, because you don't have to, because it's kind of pointless. Anywhere that's got a seam or a crease, sound deadening isn't really going to do anything. So what I'm going to do is go on the inside of these little recessed bits, and you can tell the difference just by knocking on them. So what I'm trying to do is get rid of that booming drum sound, and then everything will be good again. Then after that I can put the roof liner in, and hopefully it'll start looking like a car a little bit. So that's the roof, roofed. And hopefully it's about as quiet as it's going to get, because any more is going to be pretty pointless. And compared to before, I'll do a side by side. This is the before. And now this is the after. That's that side bit. And that's the bit that was like a drum before. It's probably unrealistic to do it on this side, so I'll do it on the top as well. Much better. I've also chucked a second layer of it on these cross members there, and that's just to shim it so it's actually pressing up against the roof. So now it's time for the tricky bit.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
Now nobody wants to watch a montage of someone fitting a headliner, so I've done it all for you in the background. And here it is.
Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater.
Not bad for a first attempt, even though I say so myself. However, there have been some tactical baggy spots left in this roofliner, and something appears to be missing at the front and rear here. I wonder what we can do about that. I'm unsatisfied. Again. So what's different? Well, firstly, I've made a little angle there so that the light, when it's attached, is actually going to do light things, instead of just being turned into a shadow by the rest of the shelf. I've added these little hard-to-see dividers so that everything isn't just rattling around inside there. I've added this tactical flap. Maybe it's to cover a hole that I accidentally made in the headliner. And I've added these bits of pinch weld to hopefully stop it rubbing a hole in my headliner. There are slots on the bottom of it for mounting a UHF, and a mysterious cavity at the front so you can probably mount a dash cam there. Patrol hub. Reliably spouting absolute shit. One day they'll realise that I only post there to get content. They won't. Anyway, the rest of the interior stuff done in this episode was adding the last of the trim pieces that I can, in preparation for the next episode, which you're all going to subscribe for. And this is where I leave you today. Another episode where not much gets done, but the stuff that does get done is slightly better than it was before. The end. For now.
Call Mr. Plow, that's my name, that name again is Mr. Plow.